What's up, Airsofters? Back with that commentary of what I felt I did wrong and what I felt I did right. But before we get into that, I just want to forewarn everybody that these were full force matches, so if you see me shooting too close, that's why. So normally with these commentaries, I usually have a lesson of the night. It's actually been a lesson of the last couple of weeks. For the last couple of weeks of my airsoft adventures, I've really realized that slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Move.
So with that being said, I think that has to do with everything from the way you manipulate your weapon, to tactics on the field, and really your body mechanics and techniques that you use. That has to do with everything from cornering, the way you approach a corner, the way you angle yourself, and then really paying attention to your angles. So, like I said, the lesson of the night in the last couple of weeks has been slow is smooth and smooth is fast. I've really been working on my body mechanics and cornering, and in turn, it's really helped me out with my angles. So, jumping into tactics real quick, I feel like I'm a rookie and a vet at Tac City. It's very repetitious for me. It's almost always the same. But then again, it's always diverse. Kind of makes sense, but it shouldn't make sense. But what I mean by that is that I always take the same tactic, and my tactic is actually trying to get to the center of the field as fast as I can. It's almost like a game of chess. You control the center of the field, you almost control the board, at least on my behalf. So it also gives me a couple angles to look at. So the more that I center myself in the center of the field, I can really control where I'm going to look at, and at the same time, I can really split the enemy up. So again, these are my tactics, and these tactics help me succeed. Everybody else's tactics don't need to be the same, or you don't have to agree with my tactics, because everybody plays different. Everybody has a different play style, a different thought pattern. When playing like this, there's a lot of things you have to expect. You have to expect that other player that's thinking the same as you, that's trying to get to the same house or the same center of the map. And at the same time, if there's nobody thinking like that, you really have to expect the enemy to be caught off guard. So you nearly got to have your reaction time down. You can't give yourself too much angles to look at. And you need to be ready to manipulate that weapon. You need to be ready to turn that corner, snap that corner, look at that angle, and pull that trigger when needed. So what I mean by slow is smooth and smooth is fast is, you know, practice all these small little functions, all these small little techniques. You know, practice reacting with your gun, practice cornering with your gun, practice snapping with your gun, practice running with your gun, practice loading your gun, practice reloading your gun, practice, you know, weapon malfunctions. All these little things that do happen on the field, you need to be ready to do it almost subconsciously.
Leave it right now. Leave it right now. Next barrier in front of you.
So starting off slow and really trying to master it and practice it and get it down, and eventually the smoothness comes with speed. And then it becomes a subconscious thing, and it's almost a reaction kind of a thing. So you're giving yourself that leg up, you're giving yourself that one up, and you're being one step ahead of your enemy and that much more prepared. So now once you're comfortable with yourself and you got all this down and worked on, now it becomes those instantaneous, you know, tactics, those, you know, almost that mini map in your head of guessing where the enemy's going to be at, you know, expecting them to go here, expecting them to go there, or, you know, you're playing certain type of people and they always play a certain type of way, and just really being prepared for that. And, you know, whether it's pre-game or during the game, you're really trying to keep yourself one step ahead of the enemy. So if you got all these physical techniques and functions down, it really becomes just a mental game.
No!
So these last two clips were back to back, and I actually play them almost exactly the same, but they all have two completely different outcomes. In the beginning of this round here, I mashed up with a bunch of enemies, and in the last round, I really only saw 2 enemies.
It's a war!
So I was consistent in approaching them the same, and this time I caught up with some enemies. But like I said, working on those body mechanics and body functions and those tactics for the last couple of weeks really helped me out, and this vid kind of shines through and shows you that after working on all this, I was completely prepared the entire time. So the last concept I really want to touch on is awareness. You know, after you get to your spot, and in this case for me it ends up being the center of the map, you know, I really like to search and assess, or stop, listen, and learn. Just really pay attention to your surroundings, look for teammates, look for enemies, listen for teammates, listen for enemies. You know, really pay attention to who's calling their hits and who's walking out, and absorb all that, and then make your decisions on what you need to do. You know, in this case I do a big loop-de-loop in the center of the map here, and I see some enemies, you know, that cross into our side. You know, I decided to chase one, but before I chased one I decided to clear the house, and sure enough there was an enemy in there. And then I kind of double back, because those are not the only, you know, enemies that end up being on the field. So again, my lesson of the day was slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Work on the little things, get those down. Hope you guys enjoyed the commentary. If you did, let me know. Like always, guys, play smart.